Welcome back everyone to another MOTOBOB video, where today we're going to be looking at the Kawasaki Z900RS, specifically this Yoshimura edition that I captured at the London Motorcycle Show. In the last video we saw what I think is the first custom Triumph Speed Twin, and you guys gave it an average score of 6.86 out of 10. A lot of people like the equipment choices, but I think the score suffered because of the loudness of the paint job on wheels, which not everyone enjoyed, especially as people are so keen on how the original bike looked. But that's why I chose today's bike to follow up with, because the custom paint job was done by the same shop, Surrey Customs. I've followed them for a while now on Instagram and seen the huge back catalogue of great work they've done, so I wanted to show another side of their work with what I think is an awesome colour choice on this bike. Before we get into the details though, please do remember to leave a comment with, if you like, your score out of 10 below. I love reading and responding to everyone's thoughts on the bikes that I cover, and also hope to compile the scores into a leaderboard, and then maybe we'll come up with our bike of the year. And of course, if you're new here and you want to see more videos like this, then please do hit subscribe. I've got plenty more of this type of walk around in the works. But without further ado, let's take a look at this awesome bike in more detail. I've not covered the Z900RS on this channel before, so let's take a look at the basic specs before we move on to the Yoshimura editions. As you'll guess from the name, the Z900RS is based on Kawasaki's Z900, but with the retro stylings of the Kawasaki Z1. Whereas the Z900 is about as modern as it gets in terms of styling, the RS features a round headlight, twin clocks, a teardrop tank, and a long and flat seat, all of which combine to make this, for me, one of the best looking modern retros on the market. I particularly like the wheels on this bike. Kawasaki chose to use cast wheels rather than truly retro, genuinely spoked ones because of weight savings and ease of maintenance and cleaning. But the cast wheels have multiple thin spokes to give the same aesthetic of a more retro wheel, which seems like the perfect compromise. As I've already mentioned, this paint scheme isn't one of the standard colour choices, it's one of a few options provided by Surrey Customs that can be ordered through any Kawasaki dealer. I do like the red of the standard bike, and I think that might be more in fitting with the Z1, but at least a little bit of green on a Kawasaki is only right for me. A full-on green paint job on this bike might have looked a little much, so this green and white combo strikes a nice balance. I think they've done a great job here. So although the bike is largely based on the Z900 motor and chassis, it's not just a few retro parts bolted on. Some changes have been made to the frame to accommodate the more significant visual changes on the bike. Firstly, the frame was narrowed at the front to accommodate the teardrop tank, which was presumably non-negotiable if the bike was to look anything like the original Z1. You'd think that narrowing the tank would reduce fuel capacity against the Z900, but if you look at the Z900RS parts diagram, you can see that the tank carries on to down between the side panels to retain the 17-litre capacity. The subframe was flattened out and elongated to accommodate the flatter and longer bench-style seat, whereas the Z900 has a steep and short subframe for a much more modern and aggressive stance. As a side effect though, the more horizontal subframe tubes made it harder to control vibration, so thicker tubing was used here. And lastly, pressed steel plates were used to house the swing arm pivots to do away with the modern plastic covers of the Z900. Some of these changes though contribute to the RS weighing an extra 5 kilos with a curb weight of 215 kilograms. Although the bike shares the Z900's 948cc inline 4, it's been detuned slightly to bring the power lower down the rev range. That said, it still kicks out 111 PS at 8,500 revs and just shy of 100 Nm of peak torque at 6,500 revs, so it's no slouch. The original exhaust on the RS was quite something to start with. It's beautifully made and polished and uses pipe within pipe to create an air gap which prevents discoloration. Kawasaki also said it was the first time they created an exhaust based around making it sound good. But the Yoshimura 4x1 full system on the show bike really takes it to the next level. These are hand bent in matte black stainless steel, and they cost a whopping £1,731 at the time of making this video. Yoshimura claim that they sound even better than stock and they'll increase performance too, and you'd hope so for that cash. The majority of the equipment on this Yoshimura edition is as standard. It's running on slightly retro Dunlop GPR 300 tyres, and the brakes are Kawasaki's own branded radially mounted monoblock calipers on 300mm semi-floating discs, which are an improvement on the brakes of the Z900. At the rear, we've got a 250mm disc and a single pot caliper. Up front there are 41mm fully adjustable upside down forks and a horizontal adjustable shock at the rear. Apart from the exhaust system, Yoshimura have added some engine protection and a pretty bling looking radiator guard. Now this is probably not for everyone's taste, but then again, if you're going to have a green retro Kawasaki with a loud full system on it, a bit of extra Japanese bling isn't going to do much harm. Last up, this bike comes with some nicely finished LED lighting, and despite having traditional dual clocks, a multifunction display is hidden in between them. And as you'd expect for a modern bike of this caliber, there's 3-mode traction control and ABS as standard. That's all for today on this bike. I really liked it, and I also appreciate that it was spinning on a massive turntable, because I've been filming all day at the show and it was nice to have a rest and just stand still with the camera, so I'm a bit lazy like that. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.